Hello everyone, welcome back. Today is something different. Today I'm making the Corsair guide my way. I've been playing Corsair lately a lot, so I thought I'll make it. I'm gonna go through the skills first and explain you all the skills before we go into the combos. First one is Family's Honor. This is your e-buff, your self buff, except it's not an e-buff. This is a hotkey buff. It has a 3-minute cooldown and it has buffs that gives you all AP, attack speed, and critical hit rate. You can use this, you can spam this buff like 20 times per hour. It's a very good buff. Those 30 seconds you're gonna be feeling way more powerful. And I do recommend it for you to put it on a hotkey, and don't forget about this buff because it's a monster. The next one is your Q, aka your grab. This skill is not that amazing. For PvE you don't need it, and I personally don't like it because it has a long casting time. Next one is your rightmost click. Your rightmost click is an amazing ability to just move around with, because if you hold AD you can shoot and dash. If you dash and then do the shot, it obviously jumps a bit. If you do WRMB, it jumps a bit backward, but it's nothing important. In PvP it can stiff randomly, so if you feel like it you can do it. Then your leftmost click, a regular leftmost click at least, not important skill that you want to skip, doesn't matter. F, your F, this is your self buff. This is your best self buff you have. Every time you press F you get 20 AP bonus. Extra 20 AP, all AP bonus. You want to spam it, you want to pull mobs, you want to use it on them, it gives extra damage. Your LVS skill is incredibly good, so if you're grinding LVS spots, this thing, please make sure to use it. It's insanely powerful, it's really good, it has a good range and good damage. Back leftmost click, one of your main DPSs. This thing does a lot of damage. And of course, we're gonna take the core skill. This is my way. I like the core skill as suppress, because then I have super armor while using the skill, aka not being stiffed by some random mobs or whatever. If you like it, you can use it. You can also use something else. Sea Mist. Sea Mist is your mobility skill, where you dash and you go through mobs, players, everything. And it also gives a mist effect at the end. And the mist effect gives you 6% evasion and 20% movement speed. As you can see at the end, there's like a small little mist left there. It gives you those self buffs, which is really important, not forget about that. And as well as it's a really nice mobility skill, and at the end you get that buff. Also, your party members, your guildies can also get buffed by it. Shift E. Shift E is your main debuff skill on PvE, and even potentially in some combos on PvP. The skill is very nice because it can be combined with forward rightmost click and shift Q, so like it has a good diversity of how to combine that skill. Then we have our forward rightmost click. I have some add-ons that I'll show later on screen that I'm using that combine it. Usually you want to use forward rightmost click with shift E right after that, because it combines really well. It's a bit annoying skill to learn to use, but you'll get used to it, because it flies you up in the air and you have to like position correctly or turn around correctly to hit the mobs. But if you use shift Q and then for rightmost click, it gets way easier. You'll see that later in the combos as well. Now your shift leftmost click and the flow skill of that. This is not the flow skill only for shift leftmost click. It's also a flow skill for different skills. I'll go by it in a second. Ocean's Allure can be used also after shift rightmost click and shift F, but also after shift leftmost click and rightmost click, obviously. This thing is pretty useful, has a very low cooldown. You can use it in a combo twice, which is really amazing, but shift leftmost click range is insane, and if you press space after shift leftmost click, it does Ocean's Allure. Now your shift Q, aka Sunshielder Patrasa, Patrasa, I don't know how to correctly spell it, sorry guys. But, and the flow skill of that, flow render Patrasa. So it's not specifically flow skill only for shift Q, guys. Again, this is for shift right mouse click, shift left mouse click, and shift Q. Shift Q on its own, it's like an archer skill. Shift left mouse click on archer, well, not important, but looks the same. It's a really good DPS ability in terms of damage against mobs, as well as it is really great because you initiate your combo with it. After shift right mouse click, you can do forward right mouse click and then shift E, and you did like 3 skills in a row. It's really great. After shift Q, you can also just hold left mouse click and you do like the flow skill. Also, you can do that after shift right mouse click and after shift left mouse click. Usually you will use that a lot in your PvE because one ability, the flow skill, the earth render, is way lower cooldown than the others, so you can use it also more often. So if one skill's on cooldown and the other is not, you can always use that. I kind of fucked up here, holy crap. I thought it was off cooldown, but it's okay. Well, yeah, after shift Q, after shift left mouse click, after shift right mouse click, you can hold left mouse click for this flow skill and it will be used. It's pretty strong. It's very strong in PvP. It's pretty strong in PvE. It has insane long range, so it makes it also a bit easier to kill mobs far away. Also, if you haven't noticed, on every skill that you use, shift right mouse click, shift left mouse click, shift Q, and so on, there's also minions spawning that do extra damage together with you. They also do on PvE as well as PvP. Then we have our shift F. This is basically the nuke of wizards, which this is that one skill that nukes everything. This is an insane strong skill, and the flow of this skill, sometimes forgotten, but is also really strong. So when you press shift F, an anchor flies down, does a lot of damage, has a big AoE, and after that there's an explosion that goes on. That is also a lot of damage. It's insane amount of damage, and I would highly recommend you guys to cast out the full skill and not just the anchor. I would recommend to cast the full skill in both PvP and PvE. This is not a PvP guide. I'll make maybe a next video on that, but for this guide I'm just gonna stick to PvE. But in PvE, you definitely want the both hits, because the second hit hits like a truck. So that is like mainly almost all the skills. Then you have your shift right mouse click, which I already explained. It's a very strong skill, also knockdown. This is your second skill set initiating skills, because it's one of your initiators in your shooting skills. At least I use it as an initiator. If you dash, by the way, and use shift right mouse click, it goes instant. Same way for shift left mouse click. If you dash and then do shift left mouse click, it goes instant. Shift right mouse click has also the benefit of being instant if it's cast after an ability, like after shift right mouse click or like the left mouse click follow up. They immediately shoot because you're like, I guess, busy with the gun or whatever, and just immediately it insta cast, it flows into each other. That's very nice. Then we have our back right mouse click. Back right mouse click on its own, it's kind of meh. Sometimes I pig and I use it a bit longer, sometimes I fail. But the kick in the end is what you want, because after your back left mouse click, you can chain the last hit of back right mouse click. And the back right mouse click, the hit, is a pretty strong extra damage in PvE. Even in PvP, that's a re-CC. It has a CC, so it's really useful, and I use it often. And it doesn't do a lot of damage, like 1200% times 4. It's pretty good for just a kick, for just a millisecond of just pressing an extra button. Light them up! This is like, I love this skill. This is my life. This is everything. Make sure to put it on a hotkey. This skill you wanna use as much as possible. You wanna pull mobs once they're grouped. You wanna use that. You wanna always initiate with it. It's really great. It does damage on its own, and on top of that, minions spawn and the minions do damage. Then we have Labao on deck. Labao on deck is basically protected area of a wizard a bit nerfed version, so to say. If I get to critical health, I will get protected area for 5 seconds. Usually this won't save you because usually you die before it procs, but if it does proc, you get this nice little buff, and well, you might survive. Most of the times you kinda won't. Sadly enough, it's not as powerful as Wizard Witches, Volks, protected area, but still, there's a small chance that you might survive, and that's the good part. In PvE though, it's pretty nice. Also, Labao on deck, when you get to critical health, heals you for 500 HP immediately. That is it for Labao on deck, to be honest. I use it often during grind and during PvP. It's an amazing skill, but not always gonna work. No mercy, scallywags! Oh man, this thing, it has 3 different modes. It's a bit too much if you're starting out, but the first mode is Bomb, and Bomb reduces the enemy's evasion by 12% and accuracy by 9%. It is amazing if you're grinding in a spot where you don't have enough accuracy and the mobs get hit by the cannon guy and they get that evasion debuff. Also amazing in PvP because you remove their evasion, you remove their accuracy, aka you make them less tanky and them maybe not being able to hit you if you have high enough evasion. There's damage scalings as well, as you can see for every mode. Bomb, you have trio hand cannon and you have duo cannoneers. Now the second one is trio hand cannons, I think. Yeah, that's what it's called. These guys, they fire a bazooka. Once they fire the bazooka, hit the mob, he gets a burn. He gets 80 burn damage for 18 seconds every 3 seconds. It's not amazing. I honestly barely use that one. I use it maybe once or twice. I don't like it personally. I personally think it's a bit too underpowered, but the damage scaling is the highest for the minions on that skill though. So if you have that on, you have the highest damage scaling. So maybe if you don't mind that the evasion debuff is not going to be there and whatever not, you can use the second one. Gives also a burn on a target. Maybe you'll get a lucky kill. In PvE, not really important. In PvE, you want the evasion debuff and accuracy debuff because, in my opinion, that's nicer. Then you have the third one, the dual cannon. If you have the dual cannon and the cannon keeps shooting, cannon shoots up till 6 times, it stuns targets. In PvP, pretty useful, but it's very random because it depends on where you shoot your light 'em up, your hotkey skill. Apart from that, it's pretty useful if you can set up a trap. It's pretty useless if you don't know how to set up a trap. For most case scenarios, I recommend everyone to use Bomb. If you want to play around with it, go ahead. For the dual cannon, make sure to think about it. It's a trap setup, so put it somewhere where there's an enemy gonna run. PvP wise, in PvE, I don't think it's useful. It's useful at all. It's either the fire one for extra damage, but it's not that much, and I would just recommend Bomb for PvE all around. Now, you want to go into your pre-awakening tree and get Mercer's Swing, Smooth Sailing, and Riding Waves like entirely leveled. And the flow of Riding Waves you want to also level. Those are your mobility skills. This is how you're going to be moving around. This is really important because this is kind of your movement kit most of the time, except that you have also forward def and awakening. Also, while moving around, shift forward, side forward, you can also press space and you can get that nice iframe movement on top. That iframe is really amazing in terms of PvE and PvP because it gives you somewhat more mobility and an iframe all around. And you can use it almost after every skill in your kit, which is really nice. Your passives, Captains on Deck, max it out. Sword Song, you max it out. Infinite Mastery, you max it out. And Skilled Hunter, you max it out. Of course, since we're going pure for PvE, those skills are going to help you. Those passives are going to help you, and gonna give you extra AP, gonna give you extra evasion. So it's really nice and recommended to have them. These are optional. I like them. I like back E and I like shift E. If you don't have enough skill points for that, you can grind for it and then later on take them. There's gonna be skill build in the description down below. If you have any personal questions, you can always send them on the comments down below as well and ask me for a personal build. Tell me how much skill points you'll have and I'll make a build for you. But all around, you need around 1200 skill points to have the most core abilities and the important ones that you want to use in PvE. As for Rabams, I highly recommend you. The first two Rabams, in my opinion, they're absolutely useless. Like, I don't like them. If somebody has a use for them, let me know. I love this one, Marseille Sea of Dreams. This is a long-ass cooldown, long-ass cooldown, yes, and a long-ass iframe. It's really amazing. Like, just look at it. Like, if in a sticky situation, then you can chain that with your space key and, well, space and WASD key, and you can jump out in any direction you want for a longer iframe. The other one is a mobility skill. I don't like it that much. Some people like it. It's really good though. I would recommend it if you want more mobility skills, more than like that iframe. Go ahead, take this one. You can dash through mobs and damage them while you're dashing through them. It's a pretty nice skill. It's definitely not bad. I don't like it personally. But yeah, that's pretty much most of your skill build. You don't need much more in the beginning. This is what you can work already with. So 1350 skill points should be enough already to go full ham on PvE. But if you do have a lot of skill points, you can max out most of the other abilities that are very rarely going to be used, to be honest. I very rarely use anything else. The only other thing that I use in pre-awakening is maybe back right mouse click into shift right mouse click. Just a tiny bit of damage. Shift Q and forward right mouse click, they're not as good as in succession, so I barely use them. All the mermaid skills are really nice. Those I do recommend maxing out as soon as you can. They're pretty neat, to be honest. Mobility and extra damage that just stationary while you heal up HP. It's pretty nice. As for Rabams, as I said, for me, they're really useless. This one is, like, I've tried it out. It was pretty low damage. The other one is a long range. I mean, it's a mobility frontal guard skill, but I don't really like it as much. And then the other one is Pearl Blast, a long range knockdown skill, but they barely deal any damage. That's one. And second of all, they're really not so fluid to use, so to say, if my English is correct on this one. All around, I feel like... Oh yeah, and don't forget your pre-awakening Marseille skill that you go under the water. Make sure to put that on a hotkey. In succession, it's Shift C, but in awakening, there is no hotkey for that. So yeah, as you can see, that's one of the Rabams, and the other Rabam is just a dash, so to say, and it knocks targets down. But yeah, this Rabam though, my favorite. It's so amazing. So that's about it for the skills. Pretty much. Some mermaid skills that I'm just using to showcase. And your back F. Oh, yeah. I forgot that one. This one, you want it maxed out. Unlevel some skills. Try to max this one out, because this one you will utilize a lot. This skill is good mobility skill to reposition yourself behind the mobs. It's really fast. It knocks down the mobs. And you can immediately start your combo after doing that to net out even more damage. Or if you're mid combo and you want to reposition yourself, that skill is pretty amazing to use and has a frontal guard on it as well. Also, make sure to put your Q or grab on a hotkey if you want it, because in pre-awakening you can actually press the button and you can get into awakening and grab someone. Now you're not obviously not gonna go and grab them mob in the open world PvE. In PvP you might actually have to use that, but I've barely had the chance to use it in PvP, because every time you use it you're standing idle for so long that's just not worth it. And because of that time that you're just standing there, a person's gonna engage on you, CC you, and you're dead. So yeah, personally, I wouldn't recommend it. Now, as for the rest of the skills, it's less about skills, about the combos. They're gonna be on the screen, but to explain it to you, I usually use light 'em up before all of my combos. I use light 'em up for extra damage, and then you net out the full skill. In terms of voice, I can tell you it as well. Usually what I do is I cast light 'em up, then I do Shift Q. After Shift Q, I do forward right mouse click. After forward right mouse click, I do Shift E. After Shift E, I do back left mouse click into the back right mouse click thingy, and then I do Shift right mouse click, left mouse click, Shift left mouse click, space, Shift F, and that's it. Usually the mobs die by that time, and if they don't die, you can already, your other skills are gonna be off cooldown, the Shift Q and stuff. You can back E behind the mobs, do back right mouse click on top. This is like some, you know, freestyle skills that you can use if you need, and immediately swap back to Awakening and start your combo again. You don't have really insane high cooldowns, so they're quite flexible, but those are your combos. You're gonna be seeing them on screen. I would recommend you to just learn this combo a bit, get used to this combo, go out in the wild. This combo works everywhere. I'm using the same combo on Orcs. In Elvia Orcs. I'm using the same combo in Bloody Monastery. I'm using in Abandoned Monastery. I'm using this in Star's End. Everywhere I can think of, I use this combo. Except Olun's, because I haven't been in Olun's on Corsair yet. I've only been there on Tamer and Striker. But I'm pretty sure even in Olun's, you can actually net out this whole combo as long as you position yourself correctly, and you're gonna do, I think in my opinion, good damage. So now the skill add-ons are pretty simple. You can copy mine, you can go along with your own, but to explain it, I put extra damage to humans and all DP -15 on my shift left mouse click, because this is my alternative initiating skill. If like some skills are on cooldown and this one is up, I can start out with that, debuff the mobs, as well as get the extra damage against humans if you're grinding in human spot. You can change that to monsters if you want to. I kept that on humans because I grind Bloody Monastery as well from time to time, and it's a pretty useful one. But you're more than welcome to change that into extra damage against extra AP against monsters. Your second one is your Shift F. Shift F, you can have down attack, critical hit damage. You can also take back attack damage and critical hit damage, depending on where you grind, depending on what you like. Patricia, accuracy and evasion for the mobs, and accuracy for your own, obviously. It's really nice. I use it a lot, and I'm really happy about that one. If you have something else, you can use something else on that. That's what I use. On forward right mouse click, you want extra AP against monsters and the DP debuff because that's in your combo. Wind Piercer Patrasa, extra AP against monsters and damage to humans because that's your initiating skill, so it's really useful. And on your Shift E, Shift E, you want critical hit damage and attack speed because that's how you start your combo with. If you have any thoughts about the guide, or maybe some advice, or if somebody in comments is asking something and I'll help them out, you're more than welcome to do so. This is kind of the guide my way, as I did with the tamer guide. This is something pretty much personal playstyle, and this is how I like to play Corsair. As you can see, like, well, in the beginning of Orcs, it takes a bit longer because it has a mechanic with the lights and so on, so it takes a while to get this purple, the effect lightning to go up. But once that's out, it gets pretty easy. So yeah, I'm gonna let the video roll out until the very end. Yeah, the combo that was shown, skills as explained. If you start getting, if you understand all the skills, if you understand the combo, you should be doing well. You should be pulling good trash numbers, to be honest. In my opinion, since everybody likes to rate classes nowadays where they are, I think Corsair is pretty much in A. It's not bad, but it's not extremely good. It's out there, it's really good, but it has like its limits. And why am I putting it in A? Because good mobility, range skills, a lot of damage, and mob aggro is a bit bigger because, well, your summons actually, weirdly enough, also grab aggro. So that's about it for me. If you like the video, make sure to like. I'm trying to stream at least right now 4 times a week. If you visit my Twitch, you'll see all the details there, my schedule and when I'm live. It's not always like that because I have busy stuff going on right now. Also, if you like this video and you want the PvP guide on this video, like this video, I'll try and make a dedicated PvP guide if people want it. If I will have, well, if nobody says anything about it, I'll think about it. I don't know, maybe I'll make it, maybe I won't. But if you guys want it, let me know in the description down below. I'll do my best and I'll make a PvP guide. I've been PvPing on Corsair Awakening for the past, I don't know, a lot. Really a lot. And I'm having a blast. This class is really amazing. It's really fun. Yeah, hit me up, guys. Enjoy the remaining footage. This is basically Orcs, 3 minutes of Orcs, and then Bloody Monastery for a bit. But that's the guide. This is really as simple as this is. I don't know if it's simple at first look, but give this class a few days, you'll really get used to it in terms of PvE. In terms of PvP, it's way more advanced. But as I said, if you guys want it, I'll make a video. Anyways, I'm out. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like if you like it. If you want more content like this, let me know down in the description down below. I'm not gonna make a guide for every class, but the class that I'm playing, obviously, I will try my best and keep up the guides, which are obviously my way. Anyways, cheers. Bye, guys. Bye-bye.
But I'm just getting